Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos. So transfer rumours here to give you guys an update on, and I'm also going to give you my own perspective on it of course as well. I'm going to tell you what players I think should come to Manchester United of course. But we do basically know that Daniel James has moved to Manchester United. He's looking very imminent indeed. Like I said on my previous video, his transfer to Manchester United should be announced sometime this week, because he's basically set to return to the Wales camp. Obviously, he had to withdraw from the Wales camp, obviously, based on his father passing away. But Manchester United, of course, are willing to give him the time and space, of course. But, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was asked towards the back end of the season, the speculation, linking Daniel James with a move to Old Trafford. And basically, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had refused to comment on this, because I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware that there's so many individuals that's linked with a move to Old Trafford. But potentially, we have agreed an initial fee of around £15 million. I think add-ons are included, so that does potentially rise it to around £20 million. But that is a reasonable figure indeed. Obviously, the stories broke out about this early on in the month, saying that Manchester United, were close to agreeing around a £15 million deal for Daniel James. We do potentially know that there were quite a few other teams interested. Brighton came in right at the final hurdle to try and get the player's signature. We do know that Leeds had inquired about him. Leeds nearly got him in January. Everton also inquired about his services. But like Daniel James has blatantly made it clear from his own perspective, his preferred destination, of course, is Manchester United. And him coming to the Premier League is going to take his career to the next level. I am very, very excited about this signing. He's looking at it, ultimately, he's going to be our first signing is Daniel James. Obviously, he's going to fit perfectly under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy is Daniel James, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has blatantly made it clear he wants to sign young players this summer that have got obviously got him a lot of years ahead of him, and Daniel James is the right solution. He's only 21 years of age, and he has obviously got a hell of a lot of development in him. The question is though, has he got the abilities? Has he got the minerals to make it to the highest level? Has he got the capabilities? Has he got the attributes to succeed in the Premier League? Can he meet expectation levels in the Premier League? Because obviously, yeah, he hasn't played to the highest level, but obviously, he's only 21 years of age. As we all know, he's primarily a winner, supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side, so obviously that's where Manchester United will probably put him, of course. So people say now what's going to be happening with Anthony Martial, because obviously he mainly plays on the left as Anthony Martial, but Martial's performances have been inconsistent in the last couple of months. I think Martial will probably get put more. We could actually put Martial in like more of a central position, with Daniel James coming out to Manchester United. But Daniel James this season has been impressive with Swansea. He's played about 30 odd games. He's only got a year left on his deal with Swansea, of course. But looking at it's a surprise solution. He's a low expectation. He is a cheap acquisition, but hopefully he can deliver the goods to Manchester United, because he's fast on the ball. He's good at cutting in from the flank, but when it comes to his defensive abilities, when it comes to him tracking back, when it comes to him being in the air, I've got strong reservation about Daniel James, because he isn't really good at this. But yeah, he's moved to Manchester United now. He's looking very imminent, and I think it's set to be announced sometime this week, of course. So that is really good news. Indeed, so let me know in the comments below if you're happy, with Daniel James coming to Manchester United. Now, we do basically know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring 5 players to the club. Obviously, we're getting a spending spree of around £250 million, of course. But like I said, how are we going to be with our recruitment this summer? Are we going to be sensible with our recruitment? Are we going to be mad with our recruitment? Quite a lot of people have said, we should be sensible with our recruitment, because there's a lot of players out there, for a reasonable figure. Of course, that's on Manchester United's agenda. So maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment. But like I said, we've got to get the right recruitment this summer, because analysing our recruitment policy is extremely very poor. And we do know other teams are going to invest this summer. I should presume City are probably going to spend, probably Liverpool are going to spend. They had a good window last summer. Probably Arsenal as well are going to spend. And we do know at the moment that City and Liverpool at the moment, at least a couple of years ahead of us, and the strides ahead of us at the moment, of course. And I do believe in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations is going to be fighting for that top 4. So I do believe we're at least 3 or 4 years off, for mounting any kind of title challenge. Obviously, we are expected to get a summer clear out. Of course, I think up to probably about 4 or 5 players, could be leaving Manchester United this summer. Obviously, another problem with Manchester United, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. But, can we still attract players to the elite level, even though we're not in Champions League football for next season? Solskjaer was saying towards the back end of the season, he still believes we can attract players to the highest level. But yeah. But yeah, basically Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's made it clear, he wants to recommend a number of young players to come in. As he's not intending on bringing many short-term players to the club. And he did say towards the back end of the season, Solskjaer, that he had been contacted by a number of agents, saying that their players, do want to come to Manchester United. But you can see the deficiencies in the squad, and you can identify the areas where Manchester United are lacking them, of course. And we've got to resolve these problems. Like I said, Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. On this squad is easy, of course. But let's see who we can get in this summer. So looking likely, Daniel James is going to be our first signing. But we do basically know in regards to Matthias de Ligt now, I think Matthias de Ligt, would be a fantastic, solution for Manchester United. He would be the right solution. Obviously, we're in search for a central defender because obviously, reflecting back last summer, obviously our priority was to get a centre back in. But obviously, last summer, we didn't get as number one targets because obviously, the board weren't backing, the signs that Jose Mourinho, wanted to recommend to come in. But talking about Matthias de Ligt, he has been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. He has been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window, and there has been quite a few teams that have inquired about his services. But now, as I have been updating you quite recently, Manchester United now could be in the ascendancy to get a deal over the line for Matthias de Ligt. Well, basically, we do know, at least in the last couple of months, that Barcelona have been in the ascendancy, to currently get the player's signature, of course, because obviously Barcelona have been in talks with de Ligt. They'd also been in talks with his agent Raiola. But now recent reports have basically said now that Barcelona have pulled out of the race for Matthias de Ligt. So basically talks between Barcelona and Matthias de Ligt have come to a conclusion because they have failed to come to an agreement on the terms and that. And reportedly Manchester United have offered him a contract worth up to £350,000 a week. Obviously this is an amount, this is a figure that Barcelona are not willing to currently meet. So if this does currently process, this will make Matthias de Ligt the highest paid teenager in world football, making one of the highest paid players at Manchester United, of course. £350,000 a week, so I think that equates to around almost £17 million a year. And Manchester United, of course, are willing to offer him £350,000 a week. I think in terms of transfer fees, he's going to cost you around £65 or £70 million, is Matthias de Ligt. And I think he's initially rated around £65 or £70 million anyway. It did come out quite a few weeks back saying that, we had a £12 million a year contract turned down by Matthias de Ligt. But Manchester United have confirmed, we are willing to outbid any other club for Matthias de Ligt. So now we could be in the ascendancy to get a deal over the line thing, because I think now Barcelona have got other alternatives on their agenda. So now initially they've pulled out of the race. It came out from Sky Sports, was it the other week saying that, he was set to join Barcelona. I think it did say then that his preferred destination was Barcelona, Matthias de Ligt, because maybe the main factor reason why, because obviously, he wanted to reunite with his current teammate, Frankie de Jong. But we also do know City have inquired about his services because they're looking for the replacement of Vincent Kompany. Obviously, Liverpool had also inquired about his services, but now Manchester United, could be in the ascendancy. Now it did come out from Sky Sports, quite a few days back, saying initially Man United adopted out of the race. We'd withdrawn our interest in the player because we all thought he was going to be set to join Barcelona. Because some reports still speculated saying that his transfer to Barcelona is a done deal, and that's been agreed. But obviously, they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms, and this is the main factor reason why talks have stopped. Between Matthias de Ligt. Between Matthias de Ligt and Barcelona. But it did come out from a very reliable Spanish journalist, Gerard Romero, did basically say that Manchester United are close to signing Matthias de Ligt. But I do believe he would be the right solution for Manchester United. He'd be a great leader in our back line. Still very, very young, only 19 years of age, got a hell of a lot of development in him. And I do believe if he came to the Premier League, it would take his career to the next level, of course. He still remains uncertain at the moment where he will be applying his trade next season. But so far, he has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. He's been an Ajax player since the age of 9. Made his senior debut at just the age of 16. Did Matthias de Ligt, and he has become an integral part of Ajax's squad. And I think he's been there senior squad about 3 years now. The only defender to win the Golden Boy Award. I think he actually became more of a first team starter. Did Matthias de Ligt. When Davinson Sanchez left for Tottenham. Back in 2017. But like I said, he's been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. I think it came out 3 weeks ago something. Edwin van der Sar, of course, who is the CEO of Ajax, he basically came out and said, he was convinced that Matthias de Ligt's going to leave Ajax and that he'll have a move to England or Spain. So could now Manchester United get a deal over the line for him? Still some reports still say he's determined to join Manchester United, even though Manchester United cannot offer him Champions League football for next season. But I do really, really like him a lot. And Ajax have had a really, really good season. They've winning the domestic double for the first time in nearly 2 decades. Of course, winning the Eredivisie title included, and of course, progressing to the Champions League semi-finals, so they've had a really, really good season. So there's still a possible chance, that he could, remain at Ajax. There's a possible chance that could happen, but I think it's very, very imminent that he's likely, to leave Ajax this summer. So now he could be on his way to Manchester United, because we're willing to offer him a contract worth up to £350,000 a week. I think he initially told his agent Raiola he's willing to accept Manchester United's contract offer, so I would love him at Manchester United indeed, and yeah, I think he'd be a great leader in our back line. Also talking about, as I updated you on my previous video, about, Giovani Lo Celso. Now, reportedly he's on Manchester United's agenda. Like I said, I don't really know much about the player. His name's actually hard to pronounce. Did I pronounce his name right? It's called Giovani Lo Celso or something like that. He's a Real Betis central midfielder. I think, obviously City have inquired about his services. Also, Tottenham have been in there for him. I think it did say Tottenham had submitted a bidding for him of around £52 million, if I'm right. But he is a central midfielder for Real Betis. I think he scored about 16 goals in all competitions this season for Real Betis as Giovani Lo Celso. He's only 23 years of age, so he's very young. Still got a lot of development in him. He is Argentinian, of course, as this player. I think PSG do get a percentage of any sale. They do get a percentage of any sale. I think the percentage is around 20. I think the percentage is around 20% or something like that. Because initially, Real Betis, did get him from PSG. I think Real Betis have now got him permanently. I think they did get him permanently, back in April. I think they paid around, was it £22 million, to get him permanently. Because initially he was on loan with Real Betis. Well, I think last summer he was on loan with Real Betis till April, and then I think, Real Betis, of course, got him permanently. But there has been quite a few teams that have inquired about his services, Manchester United, City, and of course Tottenham. I think it also said that Real Madrid have showed their interest in, Giovani Lo Celso. So he's been spoken about in the media in the last couple of days. Central midfielder, and obviously that's one of the areas where Manchester United are lacking, is that midfield area, and I do believe we need 3 new additions in that midfield. Obviously it's looking likely Paul Pogba's going to be leaving, so obviously we're going to need a replacement for him. It's looking like Paul Pogba's going to be leaving, so we're going to need a replacement for him. Obviously, as well, we're going to need a replacement for Ander Herrera. I do believe we need a defensive midfielder, centre defensive midfielder, because obviously at the moment, McTominay is too inexperienced. Obviously, the Nemanja Matic is too inconsistent, plus he's aging up and he's too slow in that midfield. And obviously, Fellaini left back in January, so I do believe we need a centre defensive midfielder, of course. And I also believe that we need a winger. Obviously, that's one of the priority areas where Manchester United, do need to strengthen up. And Daniel James is the winner we're getting, but I think we need a right winger. And obviously, Daniel James can play on the right wing, but he's supposed to be more effective from that left hand side, and that's where you do see the best of Daniel James, of course. And as I updated you yesterday about Bruno Fernandes, he's still on Manchester United's agenda. I still believe that Manchester United are still in for Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes did give us an update yesterday. He did say he's still unsure where his future lies. He did mention that he's had 2 intense years, with Sporting Lisbon. He doesn't know if he'll be spending a third year yet. But he has refused to rule out a move to the Premier League as Bruno Fernandes. Now, he doesn't know if he's going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, he's been subjected to quite a lot of transfer speculation. United and Manchester City, of course, have been in for him. I think City are emerged as the front runners, of course, to currently get the player's signature. I think City want to get him in a deal worth around 42 million or 43 million pounds. It came out a couple of weeks ago saying that the quoted fee was around 60 million pounds. That Sporting Lisbon, currently want for Bruno Fernandes. But Bruno Fernandes only 24 years of age. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him, of course. And I think he's done really, really well in his couple of seasons with Sporting Lisbon. His initial release clause is around 85 or 86 million pounds. So I'd say City have emerged as the front runners to get him. He is primarily an attacking midfielder, is Bruno Fernandes, but he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy. When he was younger, with the likes of Underneath and, Sam Pandora and all that, did Bruno Fernandes. But I think he did say yesterday as well that he has denied that he's had any negotiation with Manchester United over a potential move to Old Trafford. So he's potentially on Manchester United's agenda. But I'd love him to come in. He's still got a contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But it is Manchester United and Manchester City, of course, that are battling it out for his signature. So he may well, could be leaving Sporting Lisbon this summer. But we team as a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Talking about Joe Felix as well, I really, really like Joe Felix a lot. Really, really good player indeed. I'd love, Bruno Fernandes and Joe Felix, but I don't think we'll get both of them. I think Benfica blatantly, made it clear. Benfica have blatantly, made it clear that You know, it's basically, you know, release clause has to be triggered, you know, if Benfica are willing to currently let him go. Obviously, this has only been Joe Figgs' first season in the senior squad with Benfica. And he's done really, really well indeed. You know, he's got immense talent, he can score goals, he can fight. He's not yet made his senior debut over Portugal, you know, only 19 years of age. But Manchester United have been scouting him for a very, very long time now. And I think the rumours have continued to persist since like January, of course. And I think that's when the process started, you know, of Joe Felix. But Man United, I think, have been scouting him since then. He's primarily an attacking midfielder, can play as a winner, can also play as a secondary striker as well. So he is very, very versatile. But it did say Man United would stepped out of interest up in him, and it did basically say we were willing to meet his 105 million buyout clause, of course. So I'd love him, you know, to come to Manchester United. So he's no potential Manchester United target, is Joe Felix. And as did currently say, we do know that Manchester United we need a centre defensive midfielder. There's been quite a few centre defensive midfielders that have obviously, you know, been mentioned. Like I said, Thomas Partey has been spoken about. As I said, 43 million release clause in his contract with Atletico Madrid. We do know Declan Rice has also, you know, been mentioned in the past. We do know there's been talks of Idrissa Gueye from Everton, of course. As I said, you can't argue with his stats. You know, he's completed the most tackles across Europe. He's one of the most successful tackles in the Premier League. You know, he's 29 years of age. Is Idrissa Gueye, obviously the centre defensive midfielder. Of course, and initially Everton want around £35 million. That is the quoted fee. Everton are demanding just over 5 times more than what they initially paid for him from Aston Villa. But yeah, Premier League proven, of course. So I do believe he'd be the right solution for Manchester United. But there again, centre defensive midfielder. But yeah, there's been quite a few of them on Manchester United's agenda, as you all know. Thomas Partey, I need a bit more news on him because I don't really know much about him, to be quite honest. I know he's got a 43 million release clause in his contract with Atletico Madrid. But yeah, a lot of midfielders on Manchester United's agenda, of course. Obviously, we do know Man United looking for the right back. You know, we need a replacement for Antonio Valencia. Obviously, and we need an upgrade to Ashley Young. You know, we need a cover up for Diego Dalot. Obviously, we know there's been talks about Wan-Bissaka going on. You know, reports came out saying that Man United submitted a bid for him of around £25 million. But obviously, this figure's not going to be enough, you know, to convince Crystal Palace to sell him. I think the quoted fee's around £50 or £60 million that Crystal Palace, you know, would want for Wan-Bissaka. Like I said, he's been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. 21 years of age, still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. He's been in their senior squad now about 14, 15 months, same as Wan-Bissaka. Initially, when he was younger, he was a winger, but then obviously, you know, got rotated as a right back. And I think now he's regarded as one of the best right backs in the Premier League. You know, he has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. I think Tottenham have inquired about his services. Also, Manchester City have inquired about his services. So I really, really like Wan-Bissaka indeed. Obviously, Youri Tielemans, central midfielder, we do know there's been talks about him going on. I think reports came out about him a couple of weeks ago that he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. But actually, you know, quite recently, more things have updated about Youri Tielemans from Leicester. It does say Manchester United have inquired about his services. Man United have been in talks with his current agent over the summer transfer. Tottenham have been in talks with his agent over the summer transfer. Manchester City now have showed their interest in Youri Tielemans in the last couple of days. They've been in negotiations with his representatives. And also, yeah, he has been an Arsenal target as Youri Tielemans. And like I said, I like Youri Tielemans a lot. I think he's had about 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, he's on loan at Leicester at the moment. Didn't actually say that Youri Tielemans is expected to return to Monaco at the end of his loan spell with Leicester. But he has been very, very impressive with Leicester. This is why he's attracted interest, you know, from a number of clubs. Only 22 years of age. Has still got him a lot of years ahead of him. But I think Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal. And I think they've had talks with Monaco over this. Obviously, you know, Monaco rate him at around £40 million. So he is available for a reasonable figure. He's, you know, Youri Tielemans. I think he's still under contract until 2022. But it seems a pretty decent player indeed. And I do believe he would be the right solution for Manchester United. So he's obviously, you know, also, you know, been spoken about. Obviously, as I did say, you know, the players that they expect to leave Manchester United, of course, is Darmian and Rojo. You know, we could get around, well, the estimated figure would be around 20 or £30 million. You know, we could get for Darmian and Marcus Rojo. You know, recent reports did say that Marcus Rojo wants to stay at Manchester United. Like I said, I want us to get rid of Smalling and Jones, but obviously, you know, that's not going to happen this summer. Obviously, you know, Manchester United give them new long-term contracts, you know, which was obviously, you know, a mistake for Manchester United. Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, so obviously, you know, they've been 2 long-serving players the club, and this is why I did say we need 2 central defenders. Obviously, as well, I think Sanchez is going to be leaving Manchester United, you know, which is very, very good news. Haven't heard much news about Sanchez lately. The last time I heard, obviously, you know, Juventus and Inter Milan Juventus and Inter Milan, were inquiring about his services. Obviously, that's where he probably will be playing his trade next season. Manchester United, they're willing to let him go on a long-season loan. Obviously, Manchester United are willing to pay him half of his wages off. Obviously, we can't get rid of Alexis Sanchez permanently. Obviously, based on his substantial wages, he's on about 400 grand a week. Rises up to about 500 grand a week. Based on image rights. Based on the bonuses, it rises up to around £500,000 a week. But he has been so inconsistent for Manchester United, as you all know, and he has been one of the problematic players as Alexis Sanchez. So yeah, will be beneficial, of course, if we can get rid of him. And I did say his wages having a really bad effect on the club. He hasn't exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United, as we all thought he would have done, because he did well at Arsenal. Obviously, he was very good when he played under Pep Guardiola at Barcelona when he was younger. So being so inconsistent for Manchester United doesn't have a future at the club. He is age 30 now, and he has lost that yard of pace. But obviously, a couple of weeks ago, Sanchez's agent was in Italy, because Juventus and Inter Milan were in negotiations there with his agent, of course. So yeah, looking likely, he should be going. Sanchez has agreed to take the pay cut. Talking about, another problem with Manchester United, we've let far too many players, their contracts run down. Obviously, Juan Mata's coming to an end of his deal, as you all know. It's looking likely, that Juan Mata is going to be leaving Manchester United, because obviously the club have failed to agree a contract term extension for him. Recent reports did say that new Rafa Benitez was interested in, signing, Juan Mata. So Newcastle are interested in Juan Mata. And maybe will he continue playing his trade in the Premier League if he does go to Newcastle? I don't know if he'd be interested in going to Newcastle. Obviously, we do know that Rafa Benitez is keen on reuniting with Juan Mata, because obviously, Juan Mata has played under Rafa Benitez, during his time with Chelsea. Obviously, we do know that Barcelona have been in talks of getting Juan Mata on a free transfer. Maybe from Juan Mata's perspective, he would be keen on making a return to Spain, because he was Spanish himself, had a lot of experience playing in Spain when he was younger. Juan Mata, with Real Madrid and Valencia and all that, where he played under Unai for 4 years. But he's been a great servant in the Premier League. He's been at Manchester United 5 years. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions. Of course, scored about 50 odd goals, I think. Obviously, it was good in his 2.5-3 years he had with Chelsea when he was younger. Juan Mata. So in total, he's been in the Premier League about 7 or 8 years. But we do know now he's initially doesn't even get in the squad now. Initially, he's basically used as a squad player. And like I said, Barcelona get him. He's going to be used as a squad player at Barcelona, because obviously they're not going to see him as a replacement for Lionel Messi out. But I do believe he's going to be going, because we haven't got him a new contract. Obviously, I think he did say Man United were willing to offer him a 1 year or 2 year extension. Obviously, we're not going to be willing to offer him a long-term contract, because obviously, he's age 31. He's Juan Mata, and he's obviously he's lost that yard of pace now. Like I've already given you the update about Romelu Lukaku. He's looking likely, Lukaku is going to be leaving. I think he also, will be playing his trade in Italy next season, because obviously he's destined to make the move to Italy, because I think he was negotiating about it a while back, was Romelu Lukaku, about his dream of playing in the Serie A and all that. I do think he will be leaving, with Romelu Lukaku, to be quite honest with you. Manchester United have spent big on players in the last couple of seasons, Lukaku 75 million, Paul Pogba, of course, 89 million pounds. I think Inter Milan have expressed their interest in Lukaku, Conte is expected to be Inter Milan's new manager, to replace Luis Spelling. He's identified Lukaku as his number one target, but I think the quoted fees around £70 million Manchester United want. Obviously, we're looking to try and recoup the initial £70 million were paid for him from Everton a couple of years ago, but potentially I think Inter Milan, rate him at around £50 million, and it came out about 3 or 4 days ago saying that Inter Milan had agreed personal terms with Lukaku. It also said that Inter Milan have agreed to meet his £170,000 a week wages. Obviously, initial fee hasn't come to an agreement yet, but as I said, it'll be beneficial if we can get rid of Lukaku. Obviously, he's still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United, but I think he's been too inconsistent this season, and we know mainly Rashford's been first choice ahead of him this season. He did score 27 goals in all competitions in his first season with Manchester United, so he did really, really well. His ratio is very, very good in the Premier League, and his pedigree is very, very good in the Premier League. But when it comes to him playing the big teams, he doesn't rise up to the occasion. When it comes to his first touch, his link-up play, his footballing ability, I've got, of course, a strong reservation about that. And how old is Lukaku now? Is he 25 or 26 years of age? So he has still got a lot of development in him, of course. But I think Lukaku's agent had revealed a while back that his future is very, very open. Solskjaer's told Lukaku that he's surplus to requirements. So yeah, he's attracted interest from Italy, as Romelu Lukaku. I think he did say if Man United were willing to let him go as part of a swap deal, we would demand, Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar, of course, who's obviously, been a long-term target for Manchester United as Milan Skriniar, 24. Recently signed a new deal with Inter Milan, so he's under contract with them until 2023. But it did obviously, say that Inter Milan were willing to offer £30 million for Lukaku, and they were willing to offer Ivan Perisic as part of the deal. But obviously, Man United are not going to go along with this because obviously, Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. Obviously, he was a long-term target under Jose Mourinho, but obviously now he's no longer a long-term target for Manchester United. So obviously, wouldn't be willing to go along with this. So he could be making the move to Inter Milan. Could Romelu Lukaku. So obviously now we're going to need a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, talking about De Gea as well, he's in the final year of his deal. I do believe that De Gea is going to be leaving the club. Obviously, it came out, was it sometime last week, if I can remember rightly, saying that he has turned down the final contract offer from Manchester United, because we do know at least now for the year and a half that Manchester United have been trying to get him a new contract. Reportedly, De Gea is demanding that he wants around £350,000 a week. This is a figure, of course, that Manchester United are not willing to currently meet, and this is why he hasn't signed a new contract. But he's been a long-serving, player at the club. He's been here 8 years, as David De Gea. He's made over 300 appearances in all competitions. But I think, PSG are obviously, interested in him. PSG are reportedly preparing to put a bid in for him of around £68 million. Obviously, it'd be beneficial if we could cash in for him this summer, because it would be a calamity, if we let him go on a free transfer next year, of course. So PSG were initially intending on getting him on free transfer next year, so that could then, tempt them, to offer him a bigger salary. But this £350,000 a week David De Gea is demanding, this is a figure that PSG, of course, are willing to meet. Obviously, we do know as well that Real Madrid have been long admirers of David De Gea. Obviously, they were on the brink of getting him back in 2015, but due to the fax machine, the deal, of course, never materialised. But he's been fantastic at Manchester United, won everything domestically, hasn't done much wrong at Manchester United. He made a couple of costly mistakes towards the back end of the season, but I think that was mainly to do with the contractual situation, of course. So basically, I think David De Gea, could end up, going to PSG, of course. I do believe we need a replacement for him, if he does leave, which is looking very, very likely. I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is intending on, intending on, promoting Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper. I don't know yet if Sergio Romero is reliable enough, to become our number one goalkeeper. Obviously, as we all know, as well, we've got the likes of Dean Henderson, but I think he needs a bit more experience, Dean Henderson. He's been on loan with Sheffield United, but I don't think he's got really the experience yet. Obviously, we've got the likes of Lee Grant, but I think he'll probably, leave in the summer. But there has been a few goalkeepers' names anyway who's been mentioned, who could replace him. But I don't think we're intending on buying a goalkeeper, to replace David De Gea. But maybe one of the main factor reasons why he wants to move on, maybe because he wants to be, a goalkeeper of his calibre, wants to be up there winning trophies and stuff and being in Champions League football. And obviously, Manchester United, of course, cannot offer him this. So it's looking likely, that David De Gea is going to be leaving the club. Like I said, it's looking likely Paul Pogba is going to be leaving the club. And like I said, £250 million to spend this summer, that should get us around five players or more, even more than that. And we're cashing for Lukaku, Pogba, De Gea. that's going to take our spending speed to around £500 million this summer. Let's call it £200 million plus for just Lukaku and Pogba. Let's call it £60-70 million for the David De Gea. So that's going to take our spending speed really, really high. Obviously, like I did basically say, obviously, at full value, David De Gea is worth £100 million for the goalkeeper. But obviously, we're not going to get £100 million because he's obviously, in the final year of his contract. So we're not going to get £100 million for him. So we do basically know that obviously it's looking likely our first signing, of course, is going to be Daniel James. As I said, it's set to be announced this week, which is very, very good news indeed, because he's set to return to the Wales camp. The move's been delayed, obviously, for a short period of time, obviously, based on his father passing him away and that. Obviously, with the talks of Matthias de Ligt, he could be the second signing, for Manchester United, which is very, very good news. But nothing's been clarified as yet. Nothing's been agreed. But all he said, well, Manchester United are willing to offer him £350,000 a week, and this is a figure that Barcelona are not prepared to meet. And we are basically, outbidded any other clubs. So basically, we could get him, which is very, very good news. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.